got some dreamers in the building today? Do we got some dreamers in the building today? Welcome to the Dreamer State Summer Social. School is officially out for summer. And what a beautiful way to be kicking it off. You guys are all amazing human beings. It's a beautiful space. Shout out to Mudwater. Can we give them a little shout out to Mudwater? And you know we got to give a shout out to, I got the Crocs on today in sports mode. We're ready to dream big. If I don't know you personally, hello, my name is Timmy. I'm the creator of Dreamer State University. We're a community for people like us, for the dreamers, the entrepreneurs, the creatives, those who are in pursuit of their dream life and want that community and that support on their journey. And the purpose of these community events for me has always been to provide a space for people to dream together. If you know me, or if you've been at previous events, you've probably heard me talk about this, but the loneliest time of my life is when I started my journey as a dreamer. I was just graduating college, and I'd always had a ton of friends through fraternities and sports teams and, you know, typical male friendships, bonding over beer and basketball. But the second that I started my journey as a dreamer, as an entrepreneur, all of a sudden I felt really alone. And it was a weird feeling, like I had nobody really to talk to about my dreams and what I really wanted to do with my life. And the first time that I met a group of guys where I could actually talk about what matters most to me, it changed my life. These guys gave me permission to really go after, like, what do you really want to do with your life? And what kind of person do you really want to be? And through that support, I've been able to travel all over the world in the last couple of years, met thousands of dreamers like all of you guys that I didn't know a couple of years ago, and people who have this amazing dreamer spirit. And I've realized a big part of my purpose in life is to create community for dreamers. And so today we're going to have a chance to connect with each other, to talk about our dreams. And it's a perfect point in time because we're 2 days away from the mid-year point of the year. So it's kind of like this, you know, halfway New Year's where we're going to be able to manifest, talk about what do we really want out of our lives, and also, like, by the end of this year, what dreams we want to try to accomplish. And so before we start, I want to give a big shout out to all of you guys, because shout out to you for spending your Saturday with this crazy dreamer, wanting to talk about your dreams and wanting to connect with each other. So give yourself a round of applause real quick. And I know I did it at the beginning, but it's another shout out to Mudwater. The space is amazing. Their product is amazing. Their mission, if you haven't read it, is amazing. They do daily meditation classes, and they have a co-working space, and it's just an amazing space. So we're super grateful to be able to just be here and be in their community and their space today. So just one more round of applause for Mudwater. All right, you guys ready to dream a little bit? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to tell 3 stories before we dive into the workshop. And the first story is the moment that I first discovered that manifestation is real. The second story is the moment that I realized that you can manifest the things that you really want for your life and still be super unhappy. And the third moment is the moment that I learned, well, what is the key to manifesting the things that are ultimately going to bring you happiness and fulfillment in life? And so story number 1, the moment that I realized that manifestation was real. You know, I'm sure we've all read about manifestation or listened to it, you know, in a podcast or heard Dr. Joe Dispenza talk about it. But, you know, Google says that to manifest something is to make your dreams and goals a reality. And the idea is that by believing you can do something with focused thought and visualization and action, you can actually make it happen. And now, we've all read about manifestation, but reading about it and experiencing it are 2 completely different things. So I want to tell you the first time that I really experienced manifestation, and it was June 2021, almost exactly 3 years ago to this date. And let me just set the scene a little bit for you. It was 24-year-old Timmy. He had just gotten to Los Angeles. I was working for a big influencer here in Los Angeles named Charlie Rocket, and we were actually living in a content home in Hollywood Hills, so it was quite an interesting way to show up in LA. And we had just finished a 5-month tour all across the country where we were using our social media platform to make dreams come true for kids with cancer and homeless people and those who really were like needing a miracle. I kind of call it like Make-A-Wish on wheels. That's the easiest way to describe it. And so we got to LA and we're like, all right, this is the city of dreamers. Like, this city has a ton of people who need help and who have big dreams. How can we do something that's going to really make a big impact when we get to this city? And we had this manifestation, this mantra that we started to repeat to ourselves, and it was biggest dream yet. And we kept saying this, and that was our goal. And so I remember I reached out to every single nonprofit in LA, and I was talking to my community, and I was trying to find this like pursuit of happiness-esque story of this guy who's down on his luck, and we can rally the whole internet and the whole world around this dream. And we weren't finding it. It's a lot of resistance. I kept getting no's. I don't know if we had anything like that. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen. And then one random day, as we're going to Ralph's to get our groceries on Sunset Boulevard, there was a homeless man sitting outside named Richard. And he was a street artist. And he said that his dream was to have his art hanging in the walls of a museum one day. And we said, we could probably do that. We started to talk to him more. I'm like, this is our guy. And I remember this moment so vividly. We rushed back to our house. We're standing on our balcony in like a small circle. It's myself, it's Charlie, it's our other business partner, Langford, my brother, Tyler, and we're getting super hyped up. Like, this is our story. This is our biggest dream yet. So we're talking to each other like, well, what is the biggest thing we could possibly do for this guy? And we're like, all right, well, let's just start throwing out ideas. And it was one of those conversations where there was no limitations. There was no like, oh, no, that's too big. It was just like fire away. And so we told ourselves, like, all right, what if we build him a website and we sell his art to our audience? Like, okay, well, he only has like 15 pieces of art, so it's gonna go pretty quick. We're like, okay, what if we make prints of his art and then we sell those prints to our audience? All right, that's a great idea. What if we throw him an art show and we just get people to come and support his art? All right, what if we get celebrities and influencers to buy his paintings and support him in that way? And we're like, all right, well, what celebrities do we want to buy the paintings? And we were like, I don't remember who it was like, let's get Oprah. We're like, let's get Oprah. And so at this point, we're literally like, we're standing, elevated surfaces, right, are really cool. So we're standing now on the couch on our balcony and we're screaming, like, we're going to get Oprah. Yeah, and we're just screaming full volume, right? And keep in mind, like, we had never done anything like this before. Like, we were just firing. We had no idea how it was going to happen. How are we going to get Oprah to buy a painting from a homeless artist? Seems impossible, but we put it out there and we got to work. And in the next 3 weeks, this is exactly what happened. We made prints of his art, and I actually brought one to show you. He did a lot of like cool celebrity type art. So this was R.I.P. Mamba, but this was one of his prints. So we made prints of his art. We launched him a website, and in 3 weeks, we sold $250,000 worth of art. We threw him a sold-out art show in Beverly Hills. We had somebody buy an original painting for $23,000. We had him interviewed on the Steve Harvey show. We had, I believe, we crossed 900 million views on social media platform just for his story alone. And the cherry on top was that Oprah Winfrey herself bought an original painting. I mean, I actually remember it kind of felt like the outro to my life movie. I was like, this is it. I was like, I don't know how we just pulled that off, but I was like, oh my gosh, manifestation is real. The power of this delusional belief and taking action and knowing that things can happen when you put it out there and you work for it and you dream as big as you want to dream. And now, at the same time that I learned this lesson, I also learned something else, which was that you can be an expert manifester and get the things that you want with your life, but also at the same time, you can still be really unhappy and miserable. And I first learned this through a conversation that I had with one of our biggest donors. He was this really successful business guy. His net worth was over $1 billion, and we were driving to his office to meet his employees, meet his team, and he was like, Timmy, I want to tell you a story. He said, I'm a really happy guy now, but the day that I found out that I was worth $100 million, I was driving to work in my Ferrari with a pistol in my hand, ready to take my own life. Sitting there like, wow. I was reflecting on what he was saying to me, and I said, okay, I wonder if this is kind of a one-off situation. This guy just wasn't super happy with his life. But then as we kept doing what we were doing and doing more dreams and doing more stories and meeting more celebrities, meeting more influencers, I remember almost all of them that I met, I would think to myself, wow, this person has everything, but I would not want to trade lives with them. They seem miserable. They seem super unhappy. And so in this short 6-month stretch of time, I realized, okay, manifestation is real, and we can get these things, but I also realized, well, if we get these things, sometimes it doesn't even make us happy. So what's the secret? How do we manifest the things that are ultimately going to bring us happiness and fulfillment in life? And I'm not going to stand up here and pretend like I have the only answer to this question, because I'm sure a lot of people in this room have a lot of value and insight to share, and I would love to talk to you about it later. But I do have one unique story that I actually just recently learned, and I'd never heard anybody talk about this before, so I thought it'd be the perfect thing to share today before we go into our own inner reflections and inner manifestations for ourselves today. And so the date was actually December 14th, 2023, which happens to be my birthday. Shout out to my Sagittarius brothers and sisters in the building. Team Sag, yeah. And I was on a leadership retreat with one of my mentors, Brandon Collinsworth, and I told him for my birthday, I just wanted to have a heart-to-heart with him. I said, hey, I just want to talk to you about my life and what happened for me in 2023, because truthfully, 2023 was a pretty crazy year for me. I left working with Charlie. I started pursuing my dreams of launching Dreamer State University and building this community and throwing events and hosting retreats, and it was everything that I always said I wanted to do, and honestly, by the end of last year, I was exhausted. My anxiety was skyrocketing. I didn't feel good. I felt like I was moving 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I just didn't know how to hit the brake. And, honestly, I was using 2 cups of coffee a day to keep me going, and I was smoking weed at night to help me fall asleep. Like, it was one of those seasons of life where I was just go, and I was exhausted. And so I'm talking to Brandon, I'm telling him this, and I'm just like, dude, the irony of this is now I kind of feel like the guy who's getting the things that he wants, and yet I'm not happy. Like, I have everything I wanted. I have this creative community. I'm building something cool. I'm chasing my passions. Yet, why do I feel miserable? And I remember he told me something, and I'll definitely never forget it. And it was actually a quote by a man named Andrew Bennett. And he said, the longest journey that we'll ever take as human beings is the 18 inches from our head to our heart. I remember he looked me right in the eyes again, and he said, the longest journey that we will ever take as human beings is the 18 inches from our head to our heart. And he said, when we think with our head, we're thinking about the life that we feel like we should live, the things that we should do, or the things that other people have told us about how we should go about chasing our dreams and how we should do it. And we look at other people and see how they're doing and say, oh, maybe I should do it like that. Maybe I should do it like that. Oh, they have more followers than me, so maybe I should try to do that. Or that person's more successful than me. Maybe I should. And our mind is looking at all this stuff outside of us, but our heart has the answer to what we truly want. Because we're all one of one, right? We all have our own gifts, our own talents, our own passions, our own desires, our own ways of doing things. And he challenged me. He said, Timmy, my challenge for you is to go sit in solitude and ask yourself, what does your heart really want? And a lot of you know that I started this year and I went back to my hometown, Minnesota, for like 3 months, and I did that. I was like, all right, I got to cut out the coffee, cut out the weed, cut out the alcohol. I got to sit with myself and meditate and do my prayer and my journaling and my daily hot boy walks. And I got to start asking my heart, like, yo, man, what's going on down here? And the interesting thing about this stretch of time for me is when I started to do that, my heart told me the complete opposite things than what my head was telling me. In terms of like relationships, for example, my mind was like, okay, you just left working for Charlie and now you got to make sure that you stay relevant. So go meet other influencers and go to all these events and be in the scene and stay relevant. And my heart was like, yo, man, like go hang out with your parents and your brother and your closest friends and spend more time with the people that actually care about you and that actually love you. In terms of health, my mind was like, go, right? Who cares if you have to use coffee and weed and all this stuff to keep going, because the professional goal was all that matters. So just whatever you got to do to keep going at this speed, keep going. And my heart was like, wait a second. Your physical and mental and spiritual well-being are the most important thing in your life. And lastly, in terms of Dreamer State, again, my mindset was like, we're leaving Charlie and we've got to be successful and we've got to prove to others that we can still do this. So again, let's go really fast and get this thing going and 1,000,000 miles an hour, no brakes, like all gas. And my heart was like, whoa, man, where are we rushing to? Just focus on impact. Who do you want to help? The younger version of yourself? All right, go to high schools, go to colleges, speak to these students, inspire them to chase their dreams. And for those who follow me on Instagram, you know my new dream is now to go to every state and to speak to students about going after their dreams in life. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and they were a little bit skeptical because I was sharing this message, and they're like, well, how do you know this new big dream is now going to bring you this happiness? And I said, I don't know if it's as much about achieving the dream anymore as it is, since following my heart, my relationships with my family have been better than they've been in years, and I don't have to use coffee and weed and alcohol to get through days, and I'm waking up every day with impact. I said, I don't know what my future holds, but having the courage to follow my heart and to manifest from this seems to be the secret to what I've been missing. Which brings us back to the quote, the longest journey we'll ever take is the 18 inches from our head to our heart. I think that that's the secret, to manifest from our heart, to dream from our heart, to not live our lives based off of what others think we should do or how we perceive as the right way to do it, but to really structure our dreams and our goals and our life based around the things that we ultimately want most. And so I tell these stories to set it up for today, for us. Like I said, we're going to do a mid-year manifestation workshop, and we all could have just closed our eyes from the beginning and been like, I want to do this. But I wanted to set the stage to invite everybody as we do this, as we're about to close our eyes and do a little manifestation ourselves, to really look inward, to give yourself some courage to go to the heart. And don't worry so much about what it looks like. Somebody, when I first walked in, said, what if I don't know what my dream is? And I said, that's fine. I think there's a lot of pressure for it to be specific, but you can start broad. Like, I just want to be happy, or I just want to have good friends, or I want to find a career I'm passionate about. It doesn't need to be super specific. It can be broad, it can be blurry, but I want to give you permission to go into the heart space. What I want everybody to do real quick is I want you guys just to close your eyes. My guy's excited over there. I want you to close your eyes, and again, for a second, I want you to just turn your mind off. And go ahead and take a deep breath. And with every exhale, I want you to just let go. Let go of all the things that people have told you about how your life should look. Let go of the expectations you put on yourself to have your journey look any certain way, and have the courage to tap into the heart. And I want you to ask yourself, if you were manifesting from the heart today, what would your heart really want? If you were dreaming from the heart, what would your heart really want? If you stepped into the future, your dream self, your dream life, and you brought that to this present moment, what would your health look like? What would your relationships look like? Who would you be serving? What would you be doing for work? Where would you be traveling? I'm saying things to just let your heart just think about these things. I'm going to give you 90 seconds, and again, just don't let your mind get in the way. Let your heart go wherever it wants to go. And at the end of the 90 seconds, we're going to circle it back. So I'll let you guys go there for a bit. I see some people putting their hands on their heart. If you want to put your hand on your heart, if you want to shake it out a little bit, move and groove, like do whatever you got to do to get yourself in the feeling. Going to go about 30 more seconds. All right, and as you start to open your eyes, I want you to stay in that space. And what I want you to do is don't talk to anybody, but I do want you to turn to somebody right next to you. It's going to be weird, but don't say anything, but just look them in the eyes. Just turn to somebody next, just trust me. Just trust me. Just find one person and just give some good old-fashioned eye contact. We got my guy Ralph in the middle here, Hunter Ralph. And I love making some eye contact because it feels weird, but also I believe that when you look someone in the eyes, you're looking into their heart. And right now you're seeing their dreams, and you're seeing this person's potential, and you're seeing this person's courage and their strength and their vulnerability. And just know everything that you're seeing in them, they're also seeing in you. I know it feels weird. Trust me, you got to be a little vulnerable to do this. We don't make a lot of eye contact with people anymore. And I want you to just hold that frequency, and I want to bring something up. As you're seeing this person and you're seeing their dreams and you're seeing their beauty, I want to bring up an unfortunate reality. And the reality is that the majority of people actually never have the courage to go after what their heart really wants. And we know this because there was a study done. There was a study done on the number one regret of the dying. And it was the world's largest study ever done on people who were about to lose their life. And the number one regret over anything else was that 76% of people said, I wish I had the courage to go after what my heart truly wanted and not to the life that others wanted me to live. And so the goal of today is for all of us to not be a part of that statistic, for all of us to tap into our heart and to ask ourselves, what do we really want to do with our life? And so what we're going to do now is we're going to have a chance to talk about our dreams with each other and to really tap into that space. And so what I want you to do is whoever you were looking at, I know you guys, some people had like 2 or 3, but I basically want you to find another partner, so groups of 4, to merge into groups of 4, and I want you guys to talk with each other. I got a list of questions that I'll put up, but basically, I want each person to have a chance to really share what came up in your reflection as you're manifesting. And with your group, again, if you're at this point or not, if there's something that stands out to you, I want you to pick, if you could focus on one big thing for the rest of 2024, one big focal point that would make the biggest difference, what would that be? Number 3, I call the plus minus because we got to take action when we manifest. So what's one thing that you would start doing and one thing you need to stop doing in order to meet this goal? And then number 4, just ask for support. And again, I know some of you might be super far in this journey, some of you might be early, so in your head right now decide, you know what, I'm going to just give a lot to my group, or I'm going to receive a lot. But just play an active role in your group. I'll set a timer every 5 minutes. I'll just say switch. And again, don't feel rushed because afterwards we have more time to hang out. But I'm going to keep us for about 20 minutes here just talking. If we finish early, we'll bring it back and then we'll close this thing up. All right?